Start gathering some information. This don't have to be a good look. You don't look like a good lemur. No for nothing. We took a tumble and crashed into a pile of crates. Now I have a pack of marmots running loose. Alright, pack of marmot. Seed. Seeds. So they're gathering seeds. Alright. We'll grab 5 more loads to take out and carry. I do all this once. Mixing it up. What if someone mistakes the Cortia carrots for the Garabanian carrots? What then? Want to know what I'm doing? I'm hauling books, or fauna. If it needs hauling, I haul it. They ridiculous so to take stock in Labyrinth House, you know, that sort of take the updated inventory. Never seen an operation like this before though. Just did one a few summers ago, and with no warning at all. This mess gets dropped on our laps. Orders from on high. Down if I know the reason. Could be that they're changing the layout, eh? Bring for the next big expansion. What tells the gay lemurs out the towel? This, and this. They're turning the labyrinth, you know, upside down, and we don't know why. It's interesting, though. Complete. Escape marmots? Yeah. We're gonna look for marmots then. Meantime, we'll turn my charms upon this gleaner here. We can compare notes afterwards. Happy hunting. Did you repair gear? You do, I guess. You wonder, I've not seen any camping around here, so we'll need to widen our search into the surrounding forest. Be on your guard, there are beasts out there that won't hesitate to prey on a marmot or you. That's fine. Search a tree to the west. The eastern part of the forest is all yours. Good luck. Wait, is there Aether currents in this place? Oh, there is Aether currents. I forgot about the Aether currents. We're gonna have to get all of these. Four. East, right? Oh, yeah, I don't have any Aether current information here yet. Chirp, chirp, squeak. Sack? Oh, we ran away again. To do fair, track down Tree of the Pack, which leaves one for unaccounted for. There we go. Where will you lead of the marmots now? Students of Baldesion. I'm Krell, of the Students of Baldesion. These others are my associates. To be told, the firm's decision of late have not sat entirely well with us. That is why we made this descent to the Labyrinth House. With everybody seeing those decisions in action, we might more fully understand the reasoning. Wise and practical never hurts to try and gain a broader perspective, does it? Our duty calls. I did our most to capture enclosures you empty. Once again, I'm sorry that I can't offer you more of your services. These battles was long in making. They were but awaiting the right time to put into effect. I think they're turning Labyrinthos into a like a shelter, right, for the apocalypse. They're planning on surviving the apocalypse inside of Labyrinthos. The Archon, as Luminant serves to challenge into the archives, so does the structure house the city's wealth of material data. The upper just an access point, the vaults carved into the cliffside itself. Countless samples of specimen as well as detailed records which describes them. Physical history of Sharlayan's unwavering dedication to the accumulation of knowledge. Well, we won't learn anything of value standing out here. Let us proceed to the main building and speak with the custodian. We are here to peruse the Cactuar vaults. You are clearly not Gleamer's Head. May I ask your affiliation? It belonged to students of Baldision. Was that relevant? I was given to believe the vaults. It was open to the public. At least we're open to the public. Ordinarily, yes, that would be the case. Present, however, access is restricted. Only persons directly involved in the reorganization efforts are permitted to enter. Understand? I suppose we had better move along to another facility. This building has a lift which connects to the middle of the areas. Might we at least make use of that? No. Aether has also been suspended, I'm afraid. For the time being, priority has been given over to conveyance of inventory. Right, so this is as far as we can go. Also, the convenience. Please come again after our reconstruction operation is concluded. By that time, it will be too late, and we're so close to getting answers. We'll rethink on our approach. Let us step outside for the moment, shall we? Students have built this, young. I'd like to pursue this one further. But I doubt that our stone-faced custodian will be swayed by heartfelt pleas. We must seek another means to access to lower levels. It's likely that people in this area are involved in the restructuring in one way or the other. If we were to integrate ourselves, they might allow us to accompany them on the lift. Let us ask around. Surely someone is in need of a few strong backs to lighten the load. No, we're just students. You won't let us on to the Archeon even though we found. Actually, we have no idea what it is that we found. There's no record of such creature anywhere, but it was wandering around tranquility, and so we thought to donate it to the vaults. Squeal. So squeal, don't you think? Anyway, I suppose we'll have to take good care of it until the Archeon is open again. What's that? Take you down to the lift? Me? Sorry, but not a chance. I've been up, down all day now, and only now have finally found a spare moment's rest. Did a cleaner fellow heading out the gate, though, shouldering a large pack, engaged in some manner of task. Maybe he'll be headed down below after he's done with whatever he's doing. Aaronville over there. Maybe he needs help. Need some help? But you're frightened it away. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm in the middle of another task. A cloud again. I need to capture his rear close, okay? I can go help you if you want. You wish to help me too? Oh, you spend your time in unusual ways, my friend. The 200s are generally better than one. Very well. The kennel here is common catering spot for birds of all kinds. The birds are green. Alright. Alright, let's go get it.
Fair shot. Nicely done. Let me truss this one up, and I'll make my way over to you.
There you are. Any new revelations? So you met with that gleaner again, this time to capture a hornbill. I understand catching and bringing in creatures from the outside, but what's the point of chasing after ones already here?
Oh, it's a simple thing, really. Occasionally, we remove specimens no longer needed for study, or those we've had difficulty raising. But we can't simply turn them loose. Safely returning such creatures to their native habitats is another facet of a gleaner's duties. But not in this case, I'm afraid. I've been asked to bring the bird below.
The restricted section in the lower levels of Labyrinthos. Open only to a select few researchers handpicked by the Forum. The projects down there are the subject of rumor and hearsay. Forbidden magics. Advanced technologies that can never be allowed to fall into outside hands. Even Archons are not privy to the truth. Those who are, the researchers involved in this secretive work, are not permitted to walk freely in the city, and are instead required to live in isolated quarters.
What could a facility subject to such strict security protocols possibly need with a hornbill? An experiment?
Possibly. I wasn't afforded an explanation. But judging by the requisition list given to me and my colleagues, I doubt it's for any kind of advanced research. I'd be more inclined to believe we were making preparations to migrate to the south. Mericidia or thereabouts.
What? Why would you say that?
Much of the flora and fauna we were asked to procure could serve as reliable sources of sustenance. They're comparatively hardy species, too, able to endure harsh climates. and among them are specimens known to be effective in improving soil quality and purifying water.
When you put it that way, migration does sound like a reasonable assumption.
That's all it is, though. An assumption. Through our tasks, we gleaners glimpse only bits and pieces of the forum's plans. Our prime concern is that our requisitions, be they living or otherwise, are properly preserved for the knowledge of future generations. Now, I really must be going. I regret that I cannot reward you as you deserve.
Perhaps you might reward us after a fashion then. It is imperative that we reach the lower levels. And seeing as you are already set to descend with your assigned cargo, mayhap we could accompany you as your assistants.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. Once the animals have been prepared for transport, we send them down separately via the lift. I will of course follow after to make my report, but I can hardly pass you off as porters when there's nothing left to carry.
Indeed. Pray forget I said anything.
How do you feel about climbing? If you've strength and the courage to brave it, then there is another way down. This path leads to the 33rd facet, a mine shaft excavated during one of our expansions of Labyrinthos. While I cannot guarantee that the passage is safe to traverse, it should provide access to the medial circuit below.
I never even knew such a place existed. Thank you. This is the perfect solution.
You're quite welcome, but consider yourselves warned. If the going proves too treacherous, you do well to turn back. I bid you good day.
Well, turning back is hardly an option, not when we've come this far. Let's go and take a look at this mine shaft.
Interested in the mine shaft. I hear something moving. Is it creature's home there by researchers, you think? Well, slavering beasts aside, we will need to watch our footing. We should tighten our strap before we continue. Alright, let's go. When everyone's tightened their straps, check their gear, then I say we head down and given the Terran ahead, though, we might leave some distance between us. More enemies. Everyone seems to have made it through without incident. Nothing of consequences, at least, and as promised, a tunnel has delivered us into the medial circuit. As I recall, this here is where they keep a wide variety of samples for agricultural production. If Heronville's assumption holds true that specimens are being collected in preparation for a great migration, then we should see evidence of such plans in the area's research projects. Let's follow the path of the nearest farming facility and see what we see. A variety of vegetation, which allows us to conduct studies and conservation methods utilizing four lands. This facility, which coordinates and oversees those efforts, the fruits of the research go to feed their labyrinthose colleagues, so I hear. Memorable success might make it to the Agora, so exotic you'd be hard-pressed to guess their origin. They don't know how they might taste. The mystery of ritual without name, only a list of neutral benefits scribbled on the card. I see no gleamer hereabouts, yet these workers seem to share that same sense of urgency. Also, they know something on the front plan, and their undying motivation worth looking into, wouldn't you say? Sure. See what you can coax from the workers. The rest of us will do the same, or cast about for useful clues. Hello, we weren't expecting visitors. The use of the list being restricted, how did you make it down here anyway? You're much harder soul than I. To be honest, I think maybe we'll use such thing as we've gathered toward the fields been further from has us found order list a month long. That's to be a detailed request, there are wagon loads of crop samples and hardly any time to put them together. First heard of this grand reorganization. Soon we would be shuffling around old stock to make room for new. Then the care orders for ridiculous quantities of siege we've already thoroughly researched. Nothing strange, eh? I pressed for an explanation and was met with a vague assurance that all would be revealed in due course. Not the most satisfying answer. We're preparing for the end. We're preparing for the apocalypse, and they'll survive and no one else will. We have a lot to be taken down below, more than I carried and then some. Most of our stock I sent off via cargo lift, but some has been marked for aerial transport. Has a stack of crates atop that hill over there. That's all in block. That was a job and a half. poison? Well, as you can see, this one's a rarity of grape. It needs a good source of sunlight to grow. What will habitat and biodiversity allow for married flora? Nice. The bountiful terries, never contested as you might expect, used to be called cargoes. Before the Imperials renamed it Locus Amoenus. From side, not as a prize, however, but as a researcher's ideal environment. One whose climates we strove to recreate within the confines of Labyrinthios. It has since provided a rich foundation for countless experiments in cultivation. Investigate the stacked boxes. Over there? Alright.
Hard to look away, isn't it? But they're more than pretty flowers. Heart blooms are attuned to ambient emotion. You don't seem convinced, but believe me, it's true. This ashen grey, for instance, it mirrors the anxiety and urgency of those working nearby as they rush to fulfill sudden orders. Intense feelings like those spur the petals to change colour. Bright glowing hues in the presence of joy, dark subdued shades for frustration or despair. Yet even with the collected wisdom of Sharlayan at our disposal, we've yet to identify the underlying principle of this empathic effect. And there are other mysteries besides. Although the flower is extraordinarily long-lived, its low reproductive rate has made it difficult to find younger populations growing in the wild. With too few sightings to map its distribution, and no closely related species to track, we've been unable to pinpoint its land of origin. To further complicate matters, every culture, even dimly aware of its existence, has given it a different name and mythos. Our attempts to study it via the historical record have been an exercise in frustration. As an avid botanist myself, I should one day like to unravel the Heartbloom's secrets. But I'm afraid other duties must take precedence. I will leave you to your thoughts.
Have you learned aught of interest?
I learned a thing or two about
A
flowers.
flower that reacts to one's feelings. Strange. I must say, I have never heard of such a thing.
This is all very fascinating. But as it stands, we fail to gain any significant insight into the Forum's undertaking.
Indeed. While there is certainly enough activity to support Erenville's supposition that a priority has been placed on improving food production, unfortunately for our investigation, these workers were never informed as to how their duties serve the master plan.
If only we could interrogate the Forum members directly. Isn't that the entrance to the Archaean? Look, there. I think that's Erenville.
A little difficult to tell from here, but I think you're right. He did say he was coming down to make his report.
Erenville receives his orders from the Forum. Would it not follow, then, that the superior to whom he reports is a Forum member? Or at least a close associate?
You mean to eavesdrop on their conversation? What of the risks?
Ours alone to bear. We won't interfere with Erenville's work, nor will he be implicated as an accomplice. If you're not comfortable taking part, I can do this alone.
Nay. I said myself that I wished to know Father's intentions. And no answers will be forthcoming should we simply ask nicely.
We can apologize later, should it come to it. Right now, we need every crumb of information we can get our hands on. Consequences be damned.
It might be best if you came along as well. In fact, we should all... Cryer?
Oh, yes. That certainly sounds like a plan.
I'm glad you agree.
Quickly! Erenville is on the move. We need to get closer before we lose him.
Almost. I can almost reach you.
Reach who? Going well. I've never seen her so distracted. Keep an eye on her, but keep on moving too. Cannot let our car slip away. Oh, I can still catch him. Control centers, huh? One could act as the upper or lower tiers. Aye, if I have an agent of firm, make for a convenient meeting place. Even if we happen to find Erenville in the company of said agent, we cannot expect them to reveal issues of importance as we nonchalantly stroll past. Nay, we shall have to remain undetected. If only Greyhound his vanish spell were here. Oh, but there are other ways of turning invisible. Hippity hop, my little toads. Goodness. Unaccustomed to transfiguration? Or not, it will wear off with the passage of time. Suggest you and your green companions hop along and catch up with Erenville. Should you feel the magic's fading, return to me and I will refresh the enchantment. What am I gonna do in the meantime? You're with me, and your current state of mind, you'll be as likely to leap into the jaws of predator as you would learn of anything of note. Which reminds me, where the creatures are about, in that form, you are essentially defenseless. Must remain transfigured in order to progress with the quest objective. Yes, I'm gonna be a toad. Or a ribbit. Yes. Restore your prolonged transfer recreation. Yes, I'm ready. I'm a toad. Life. Toad life. Let's go. Let's go, team. Toad life. Toad life. We have how much? 29 minutes. Should be good. Oh, we'll speak with Alphino first. Okay, Alphino, we gotta talk to you. Leave it. Keep them on your side in order to proceed. Yes. And let's go. Come on, team. Come on, team. Let's go. Follow the road, I think, because I think if we don't follow it, it's gonna be harder. This bridge is 0-1, I think. So it's on the other bridge.
I trust you will find your compensation to be more than satisfactory. We wish to make clear that we are pleased with the efficiency and thoroughness of your work. So much so that we have come bearing new tasks in need of your competent hand.
Another lengthy list. If I may speak frankly, the Gleaners have been pushed to the point of collapse by your unending demands. We are not familiars to be exploited. We are Sharlayan scholars, and we deserve an explanation for this unseemly treatment. What warrants such urgency?
In an age long past, Sharlayan was charged with a momentous duty. And now that word of the final days hangs heavy in the air, the time has come for us to fulfill that charge. I can say no more, but I promise you this. All will be revealed in due course. And when it has, you will understand that your toil was in service to the greatest good.
Then I will do your bidding. For now. But unless you wish the Gleaners to rise up in protest, I advise you to offer tangible improvements for our working conditions. Your promised revelation does nothing to address present circumstances.
A fair point. Your concerns will be conveyed to the Forum.
We should probably go.
I hope that was informative. You may consider my debt to you repaid in full.
He caught on to us though.
While I do have my reservations about the Forum, I want to believe that they have our best interests at heart. Which is why I'm reassured that you're busy sniffing out the truth of things. We can ill afford to place all our eggs in one basket, this master plan of theirs, without first understanding the risks involved.
Wait! How did you know it was us?
If you mean to impersonate a toad, try studying the real thing. And don't try to fool an expert.
What exactly? Exactly, we were bad at impersonating toads. Soldiers have known the Gleamer would specialize in animals. Procurement would not be so easily deceived, yet he seemed inclined to put his trust in us all the same. More importantly, perhaps we've discovered a new piece of the puzzle. This momentous duty the firm agent mentioned. Sharlayan has been called to action, and the Telephoroid's declaration was the catalyst. Whatever charge it is they hope to fulfill, they seem to of sufficient import to disrupt all the laboratories, not to mention ignore Yorza's request for aid. Starting off in the distance in the direction of Erenville. Departed a terrible look on her face. What duty could warrant the direct involvement of the firm in the commitment of all its resources? Judging from what we have heard, none of the Gleamers were offered any kind of explanation. At this point, it seems abundantly clear that we'll learn nothing but new by pressing them further. We should head back to Sharlayan Craft in a moment, see what they think of this. I guess just you found Erenville then. I had a feeling you would learn something important, even if that something was simply confirmation and no one knows much of anything. We should share this with Krat and discuss how we would like to proceed. Assuming we find her back at the farm, she was still behaving oddly, so I bade her return and rescue her there. Perhaps not the best decision in hindsight. Would you mind checking near those flowers she was sworn to trance by? The rest of us can survey the more distant areas.
For you. The spell will keep it from wilting. She said you would need it for the journey ahead. Will you speak with her now? I cannot hope to match Minfilia's clarity, of course, but...
Thank you. Do not worry. She has lent me her body for only a moment. Just as I could not save the first from the flood of light, it has become arduous for me to interact with the physical world without assistance. Though I might converse with you for a time, the incorporeal form I assumed on the ship would be incapable of casting even the simplest enchantment. It is in the depths of the ethereal sea, the place to which all life returns, where my influence is greatest. After Minfilia's sacrifice on the first, it was to the sea, here in the source, where I ferried her soul. I wished that gentle spirit to find rest in the world she loved so well. Her, and another who may yet have a part to play, though that will depend on you. Take the flower. Walk free, for you are free to go where you wish, to believe what you will. That bloom will be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. In darkness, seek joy, surrender not to sadness, and see beyond despair. Walk free and bear the light for others to follow. Together, raise it aloft and let it shine till the end, blinding and radiant.
That was all too brief. Already she seems so far away. My apologies if I startled you. Ever since we began our descent into Labyrinthos, I had sensed another's will, straining to reach out. Even with my particular talents, though, I was unable to make a connection at first. So weak and tenuous it was. Once I took hold of that wispy thread. Imagine my surprise to discover it was Heidelin herself. Needless to say, it seemed wise to learn what we could before letting go. Her answers were more cryptic than I would have liked, but at least she left us with a guide of sorts, that unusual flower. Yes, we are definitely making progress.
You can't be serious! We've done nothing wrong!
Master Fortuno, what business has the Forum with us?
Obstruction and suppression, apparently.
Mistress Baldessian, our records show you facilitated the Scions' entrance into Sharlayan by claiming them as assistants for your organization.
They are assistants.
We are aware of your investigations. After alerting the major institutions to the presence of potential troublemakers, we received word from an Archean custodian. A group operating under the auspices of the students, skulking about Labyrinthos and engaging in clandestine behavior.
Clandestine? We may not have entered Sharlayan as scions, but we did naught to conceal our identities. Our only purpose in this city is to seek the truth. I can think of no reason why our actions should warrant the Forum's intervention.
'Tis not our way to discourage the pursuit of knowledge. But the timing of such pursuits must be considered, not to mention their potential impact. With the world in chaos, we, the true caretakers of wisdom, have committed ourselves to an undertaking that demands the utmost discretion. And we will not risk its success by turning a blind eye to disruptive foreign elements in our midst.
What then is to be our fate? Will you put us on a ship back to Eorzea?
The Forum will convene to examine your case. The results of said inquiry will determine your future in this city. As for your absent companion, he has already been detained.
Graha! But why? Is reading a crime now, too?
Reading is encouraged, celebrated even. Not, however, of the volumes shelved in the restricted section of the library.
Refusing to comply will only make matters worse. Let us instead treat this as an opportunity to open a dialogue with the Forum.
Silence is often one's best defense. I would advise against prolonging the proceedings with frivolous discourse. But enough. This is not the place for debate. The rostra await.
This is like the trailer.
Forgive me. I was careless.
We would have been detained regardless. This way, at least, we managed to stay together. I trust your time within the Forbidden Archives was well spent.
The Forum will come to order. This inquiry is now in session. As Speaker-elect, I will be presiding over the day's proceedings. Master Fortuner, would you be so kind as to restate the matter which compelled you to summon your colleagues with such urgency?
As you are all aware, we recently denied Eorzea's request for Sharlayan assistance. Since then, certain individuals dissatisfied with our decision have taken it upon themselves to interfere with our work. They entered our nation masquerading as associates of the students of Baldessian. But these malcontents are better known as the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. These militants wield influence with both the Eorzean and Eastern alliances, and are inextricably involved with the crises presently afflicting the world at large. loose in our city. These warmongers sought to meddle with and expose matters of state secret. What are they, if not a dire threat to be expelled?
You have tarnished the good name of the students. Galuf would be ashamed.
Galuf Baldessian was never one to forsake his fellow man. Even if this nation closed every door and retreated from the world, he would have found a way to help the Scions, help every soul of this star fight back against the coming doom.
A terrible enemy stands poised to lay waste to all we hold dear. In the face of such madness, Eorzea reached out to Sharlayan, a respected ally, in the hopes of forming a united front. Was your curt dismissal truly the best you could offer? Or are you so preoccupied with your momentous duty of an age long past that even the end of the world is unworthy of your attention?
Whence came this revelation?
From the mouth of a Forum member within fortuitous earshot.
Then it seems your findings support my own. The reason I visited the restricted shelves was to study records of the Forum's policymaking process, to better understand the historical trends underlying their most major decisions. At first glance, the positions of neutrality in war and the accumulation of knowledge above all else appear constant and consistent, the unchanging pillars of Sharlayan society. And once upon a time, I might have left it at that. These days, however, I am more attuned to the subtleties of governance, and so I noticed something odd. From a particular point in time, the purpose of these policies shifted. No longer was knowledge preserved for the benefit of society. Rather, society was to be gradually reshaped to ensure the preservation of knowledge. The most conspicuous and telling change was the one which befell Labyrinthos. Once little more than an oversized storehouse, an enormous allocation of funds saw it transformed into an advanced research and archival facility. I also discovered a fascinating account on the finances of our Dravanian colony. The settlement attracted students from far and wide, and the connections and tuition fees thus acquired were funneled into further improvements for the archives. Now, there is no question that our nation's progress is tied to the acquisition of wisdom. Nevertheless, the vast resources diverted for this purpose borders on the obscene. But returning to the matter of when, our change in course appears to have been made some 270 years ago.
The very same period when Sharlayan scholars in the hinterlands began a formal study of the ethereal sea. You found something, did you not? And whatever it was, gave rise to your oh-so-important duty.
Mind your tongue, Archon. If you had seen...
Yes. We are bound by a duty we cannot ignore. Knowing this, what would you have us do? Abandon our vital work and join you on the field of battle? We will never choose the way of the sword. We will fulfill our mission, not through strife and bloodshed, but survival. Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we Scions will fight until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
Such misguided zeal.
Father, Master Fortuno, I fail to understand the stance you have elected to take. But by the same token, I have yet to find a compelling argument to counter the challenge you put to us in Gridania. Still, in the midst of my uncertainty, I must trust in myself to do what is right, as others have chosen to trust in me. So I will continue, as I always have, weighing the consequences of my every action, and allowing my hope for the future to inform my decisions.
That's quite enough. Have you all forgotten the reason for this assembly?
Skolok Monteshane. He's the head of the Studium and an old friend of my grandfather's.
Honestly, every discussion devolves into some interminable debate. Terrible habit. Let's return to the topic at hand, By their own admission, these Scions have resolved to fight alongside the Eorzean nations against the doom which swift approaches. But there exists no evidence of an attempt to incite our citizens to do the same. Furthermore, while our decision may well have been the correct one, we cannot simply bull our way through these disagreements without inviting doubts or objections. Put yourselves in their place. Who among you would leave a tome unopened if an elder forbid you read it with no reason given? No. If we're to quell further discontent, then we must conclude this matter with a fair and even hand.
Order! We will have order! Master Monteshane raises some valid points. Keeping such concerns in mind, I propose we enforce the following measures. Until further notice, the students of Baldesion are to cease any and all activities within the domain of Sharlayan. You will also refrain from any further investigation into the Forum's decisions and duties. Failure to comply with these restrictions will result in the immediate expulsion of your Scion associates. Let us put this judgment to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. I count 51 for and 48 against. The proposal is passed. Students, Scions, you have heard the Forum's judgment. Pray abide by it, or face the consequences. Honored members, I thank you for your time. This inquiry is concluded.
city. Regardless limitation have not been made. We now know that this mysterious duty of theirs began with whatever the From discovered in the Ethereal Sea. Our freedom is so sorely curtailed, however, we must struggle to learn more of the substance here in Sharlayan. The decisive action. The picture has grown clearer, yes, but that's in spite of the From being so maddeningly vague about this duty of theirs. Why are they so reluctant to explain their actions in plain words? Well, come what may, his father's work so vital that it takes precedence over his own family. No, I'll say, it is you. When I heard you had been dragged before the From, I came down as swiftly as I could. I'm so very glad they allowed you to stay. Mother. Melians Levea at your service. And you find people through the scions of Sevadan. How lovely it is to finally meet you. Mother, please, we don't wish to make things difficult for you. If word reaches Father that you were here. Oh, Father, that am I to be chastised for speaking my own children? I am well aware that you and Master Fortuno are not on the best terms at the moment, but I've been absolutely desperate to see my darlings again. You'll come to my house, won't you? I have gifts waiting. Timing couldn't be better. As matters stands, we shan't be going anywhere until we discuss matters with Tancred's group and reconsider options. Go visit your home. We'll be back at the annex when you're ready to rejoin us. I'm not sure we... Patios, what do you think? Oh, Patios, deep Patios, Chum? Wow, this splendid day has turned out to be a champion of yours. I insist that you join us. But we must be quick about it, not for my own benefit, but should my husband return and find you enjoying our hospitality, the servants will be made to suffer the consequences. If you would be so kind as to escort my children to the estate. Sure. And then she was gone, and with her any opportunity to protest. Indeed, the matter is settled. Enjoy yourselves, you tree. Right, well, let's go visit Alfino and Alessa's estate then, before Fortuno gets back from the forum. Not much, my word is not the one to take no for an answer. Still, I'm glad to relieve, even to see her in such high spirits. What say you? It seems we shall have little enough time to enjoy it. Will you accompany us to our visit home? Fine, we're going. Then let's get over with. Be sure to stay in the entrance hall. Don't peek into our private chambers. Thank you very much. Wait, maybe not. Your room, as always, perfectly neat and tidy. Cheers, mementos. You could bring yourself to Troy. Chalatais. God, never mind. The way out stairs is that way. Straight down those stairs. Come on. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Yes, please do come in.
Welcome home, my lady.
What? What are you gawping at?
Just admiring the craftsmanship.
Oh, I suppose I never gave the decor much thought. I'm glad that you approve, I think.
Lord Fortuneau is not to hear of this visit. And I should also like the children to have their gifts, ere my husband makes his return.
As you wish, my lady.
Master Alphino, Mistress Alice, if you would accompany me upstairs.
We shan't be long.
The twins have been sending letters home from time to time, recounting their latest adventures. I am sure they withhold certain details, of course, if only to keep me from worrying. Yet a mother worries all the same. In the early days especially, I tried to support them as best I could, sending the Scion's coin and other such donations. Fortunately, they have found the strength to overcome adversity time and time again. Their words grow more confident with every letter, their depictions more vivid. The triumphs and defeats, the joys and sorrows. It is clear that they have come to find value in every experience. But of those they treasure most, it would seem that meeting you might be the most impactful. Why, since that fateful day, I do believe there has not been a single missive in which you were not mentioned by name.
Of course, I'm the warrior of the light. Makes sense.
It is plain they care for you, and I am glad they have such a steadfast companion watching over them. Under normal circumstances, I would offer you tea, but alas, these are anything but. In any event, why don't you keep me company whilst we await my children's return? Perhaps you might regale me with a tale or two of your exploits.
Okay, well, we saved an entire world. We also saved Doma. Ooh, new outfits,
When you
nice.
mentioned gifts, I wasn't sure what to expect. Mother,
Oh, look how well it fits you. And the style is to your liking?
It's perfect. Exactly what I would have chosen. But please, tell me you had something different made for Alpha now.
Naturally. You are hardly little children anymore. And while I shall miss dressing you in those precious matching outfits, I must respect the individuals you have grown to become. See for yourself.
Thank you for the splendid clothes, Mother. Stylish, comfortable, and eminently practical.
I am so glad you like them. They are, however, missing one final touch.
If you would allow me, Master Alphino.
Oh, this is where he becomes a sage. Nice.
Wait. Are these...
A sage's tools of the trade. They belonged to your father. Though he may as well be chained to his desk these days, as a student he was often called upon to venture into the field. He wielded those armaments, both to heal and to harm in no few battles. None so fierce as those you two have braved, perhaps, but battles nonetheless. Thus did I pull them out of storage, to show you that he was not always the man who stands in vehement opposition to you now. And also because it would be a terrible waste of ridiculously expensive House Leveilleur commissioned artistry. I am told these devices are quite difficult to master. But someone of your extensive experience should soon have them darting about with grace and aplomb. May the wisdom in that crystal serve you well. And please, try to find common ground with your father, that you might come and go without need for this awful subterfuge.
We will, Mother. I promise.
My final gifts to you, before you run off, are an observation and a suggestion. Firstly, Fortunato has ever been a serious man, but it was only after you were born that he truly lost himself in his work. I may not know the Forum's inner workings, but I know your father's. The timing of that change in him holds some significance. Secondly, do not seek to best your father with words. Far better that you simply show him. Let him discover the merit of your actions, after they cannot be undone.
Oh, Mother.
We shall take your wisdom to heart. Thank you again for these gifts, and farewell for now.
Safe travels, my children. Eat well, stay warm, and keep your friends close.
Indulge in Mother's request. I can see it meant a lot to her. I shall refrain from inquiring as to the content of your private conversation. Our visit was all too brief for now, however, it will have to suffice, as well as these tokens of home that we carry with us. To remember who we are and whence we came. Enough of sentimental mentality. Let us return to the annex and rejoin our companions. I wouldn't ask how the twins fared, but their all new outfits tell the tale. Only I hope we can help them reconcile their father, that they might return home one day with their heads held high. Meantime, we edge ever closer to the secret of the firm, to hide it in the flower bequeathed to you by Hyland is sure to guide us going forward. As you've scouted out the situation in Tavernier, we'll be well equipped to plot our next move. Alright, so now I'm gonna have to go with Tancred's team. Tancred is eager to set forth with Tavernier. I have Corellia's instructions in hand. If you're ready to set out, then so are we. Having been to Tavernier before, I can travel by Aether. What of the rest of you? An urgency voyage would waste time we do not have. Krell has come to mind, has already secured the aid of the good folk of the Confluence. We'll take ourselves there. Confluence, thou sayest? I'm afraid so, my friend. What's the Confluence? I will recall the hunt for Iceheart, and to those whose sanctuary we delivered the owing to the knowledge of our comrade Mord Breda. When Breda was an authority on aetherology, a field of study she did embark upon in pursuit of her parents' example. Both authorities in their own right, and both are researchers at the Confluence. Haven't you gone to see them yet? No. I attempted to do earlier, but to my shame my courage failed me at last. As it have many times, I thought to reach out to them after sending that fateful letter. Neither time nor introspection have revealed unto me the words I should speak, and thus have I kept my silence. Whether you come with us or no is your choice and yours alone. If it is too difficult, we'll manage. Thou art kind to say so, but I have no intention of forsaking our cause. I shall go to the Confluence, and I shall face that which has long been overdue. If it's settled, then let us be off. When we arrive, we should look for a researcher named Kite. No, this is very odd stern faces. My library books overdue again. No, not to our knowledge. We're associates of Carl of this one's ballet, so there's a passage to tab there, and I understand that you can assist us. Let's test subjects. Welcome. Test subjects. Test subjects? Oh, you had heard? Well then, allow me to explain. So in order to travel to an internet, you really need to be attuned to it beforehand. Otherwise you can't use it as a beacon to seek out while you're in a mess of Aether and hurling along the ice stream. Inconvenient cover a limitation of Aether and teleportation. But if I were to tell you that there's a way to travel to Aether, well, you get tuned to it. With more instant places away from home. In years we'll be able to make such travel possible. People might move about freely. I finally done it. Created a new kind of Aether that doesn't require movement. Surely that changes everything. The language may have been a bit misleading. The user needs not attuned to this is right, but the Aether themselves must be pre-attuned to each other. By facilitating travel between the 2 points. It just so happens that for our first test of Aether, one has been installed here in Sharlayan, the other in Odd or Tenant tab there. As you will know, our nations has long maintained strong ties of Rat's Head, and we will much for this breach to the contribution of their alchemists. So some up were to test these same turrets. How fortress are we? I should mention that in accident, as the ability to channel Aether. Will this be a problem? Not at all. As a matter of fact, I'd say these turrets were made for people like you and good self. And you're imbued with them will whisk you away without any effort of your word. Your dream come true, and to be far from it. Does she have permission to make use of your shiny invention? The card is yours, assuming you're willing. We're all set. It may come as a surprise, but we have actually struggled to find these test subjects. Most people seem to have an unreasonable fear of their souls gradually disintegrating. But it's plain that you aren't most people. Mistress Kyle truly knows how to pick them. If I might change the subject, or if a mistress Bojan not present today. What are you doing here? They've recently resigned their post. Their expertise is needed elsewhere. Scale project held by the firm itself, as I understand, but I'm not privy to the details. I see. Any other questions? No, then let's get going. Detroit, please see to your preparation and head outside the Enterprise. I'll be along shortly. Just gonna teleport there, that's pretty cool. Tavner bound. I'm waiting. I'm waiting at the Aether Plaza, like he said. Wait at the Aether Plaza and Old Sharlayan, alright. I'm waiting.
Right, we're all set. Just the 4 of you, was it?
3. I'm already attuned to the crystal in Thavner.
You are? Oh, I would have preferred more test subjects. Oh, well, never mind. If our 3 travelers could line up here, please. Yes, right there is fine. Take a deep breath, and I'll soon have you soaring through the ether. Oh, and one last thing. You might experience a teensy-weensy touch of violent ethereal sickness. Good luck!
What?
Basically, we're gonna get sick after. That's... Yep. Oh well. That's what happens when you're a test subject, right?
Thavner, home to city-state Rads at Han. Rising from the southeast waters of the Bounty, this Isle of Plenty served as the battleground for a conflict between 2 peoples. Their cultures bled into one another until a unique amalgamation was distilled from the chaos, in a process not unlike their precious alchemy. Once solidified as a single nation, an adamant stance of neutrality would hold invaders at bay. For a time. Now across this vibrant isle creeps a fog of malice. What choice do you have? What chance? Against such an insidious foe.
Town there, this place looks pretty cool. Oh, there's the tower there, oh no.
I've seen fairer faces after a bout of bad shellfish. Let me bring you something to drink. That should help settle your bellies.
There was a note with Kryle's instructions. Don't let a Stinian roam the markets alone. He's alarmingly bad with coin.
We're gonna go have the finest day among yourself. If you manage to fool yourself, you'll be able to reach the station in time. Okay, where's the Stinian? The markets are down here. Tree drinks, something that helps with Aether sickness. I mean, greetings and welcome. Why is good sir to tell me my special salads made with only the finest and fresh ingredients farm from Ruby Blaze. 19,800 gil. You could barely stand. What do you need me to tell me? So urgent. But it shouldn't be by the lassie. This merchant is swindling me. Yes. Well, sorry, but I appear to have my price confused. It's actually 1,890 gil for the 3 bottles of lassie. That confusion would have been quite costly for both of us. Very well done, your coin. Here, a bottle for each of you. Take them to the others and get some rest. Well, at least we saved 100 gold. I'll be back after we've explored the town, alright. You swindler, you. Go deliver that to RUNJ. Here on the bench, by the bench. Here you go. We used to develop metallic dust loose in its graph group. My heartfelt thanks to you, DNSDN, and to the fine fruits of this land. Yeah, I should probably attune myself to the Aetherite, so I can actually just teleport back here, since I'm here. I can't even get closer to the Aetherite. Okay, well, let's attune to it. There we go. And then, well, let's go talk to Tancred. This was faster than going by ship. So, you spared us, Tatter's rough. There you go. It truly worked our wonders. Back on your feet, I see. Tie hair. I found it. Just the most I could do against this heat, short of shedding my armor. And that's where you got the cord for it. The local vendor demands that he's a Terran weave, though not easily unraveled. And how much did it cost? 9,400 gil? But still, I was told. There's nothing fancy, but I've always valued function over form. It's incredible, I dare say not even Alpha could hold a candle to you. Are all hash merchants so unscrupulous? As I expected Jojo to put up more of a fight. It's not uncommon, but why are people here raising the prices so much? Glad to agree with the ice estimates. It does seem excessive, unusually so. Claim Taverner as its swim in the nation of Rats Hazan, North Drive as a hub for commerce. Beginning there were Akanazarsa and Matanga tribe indigenous to this island. Time they came to be joined by other races, and through their intermingling culture, which distinct bit emerge. Alchemy to textile products of. Okay, I try to come to celebrate. Okay. That's pretty interesting then. All this has combined to make a trading power of Rats at Hahan. But such a status cannot be taken for granted, nay, it must needs be maintained. True treaties governments distinguishing regulation, in which I say any in evidence, given the merchants at Gateway Town are free to fleece hapless travelers and tarnish the reputation of the nation at large. Just so the opportunistic pricing is rapid does seem, and oversight is much weakened. We have that the people have fallen upon hard times. Whatever the truth may be, it would be prudent to ascertain the current state of affairs. Prudent practical eye. We've not deluced by learning more. So ere we seek out Carla's acquaintance, shall we see that information we can gather here in Yildibrand? Excellent. We didn't exactly get off to a flying start. We'll make up for it. Alright, well, I'm going to stop it here for today. Next time on Final Fantasy XIV, we're going to explore... what's it called again? Tavernair. We're going to explore the land of Tavernair. And learn what's happening here. See you guys next time. Islabard, right? Yeah, Islabard. I wonder how big Islabard is. Well, there's two... Okay, Islabard is a big giant island in the city, okay. Pretty cool. We'll explore Islabard and Tavernair next time on FF14.